get going. Good morning. Good morning. I am so glad you guys are here. We're going to talk a little bit more about homeopathy and what you can do with your scanners. When I learned this that I'm going to teach you guys today, my mind was totally blown. I was like, I didn't even realize we could do that. But although with the teachings that I've had in the past with homeopathy, it just resonated and it made sense. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go with this. So, homeopathy, potencies, and imprinting on the AO scanner. You have an amazing tool. You can make all of your own homeopathics. And if we'll kind of go into making some homeopathic remedies later on. But I'm kind of wanting to cover some basics with everybody. Last week we kind of talked about the homeopathy one-on-one, where it derives from, where it came from, who's the founder of it, or so-called founder, or the father of homeopathy, Samuel Hahnemann, or Hahnemann. So we talked a lot about that last week. This week I'm going to show you something that you can do with your scanners and with the homeopathic pellets, or even a bottle of distilled water. Now, this bottle is actually a bottle I got from a trade show that we went to a couple of weeks ago, and I refilled it with some distilled water. But I've erased this bottle. Whenever I go somewhere and they're offering free bottles of water, I can tell you the first thing I do is put it on my scanner and erase it. Always. I always erase my bottles of water no matter where we go, and then I imprint them with love, or a couple frequencies. And I'm telling you, the water tastes different. Maybe it's placebo, I don't know, but in my mind it tastes different. And then I also pray over my water. So get into the habit of doing that with your water, and you'll start noticing some changes. Let me make sure we're on the second page here. Okay, so just to recap, homeopathy is an alternative medicine based on the theory of treating like with like. So homeopathy claims to stimulate healing responses to diseases by administering substances that mimic the symptoms of those diseases in healthy people. The effectiveness of homeopathic preparations is disputed within the medical sciences. A lot of people say it's pseudoscience. And the ones that say it's pseudoscience, or anything that they call pseudoscience, is the ones that I'm actually going to pay closer to attention to. So iridology is another pseudoscience, but I've been studying it for years and been practicing it for years, and I can tell you that I clearly see lots of things in the eyes that doesn't generally present itself in the body until a later time. So when working with clients, I'm going to recap this too. You want to take an extensive symptom review, listening to their wording, how they explain their symptoms. That all is a part of homeopathy, believe it or not. If they feel like their throat is like they've got a cotton ball in it, that is a symptom. So you want to take note of every one of the symptoms. Doesn't even matter how crazy the symptom is that you think. Take note of those symptoms, because they all matter. And when you're looking in your materia medical to try to find a remedy that kind of mirrors what they're explaining, you're going to want to know what those symptoms are and how they're explaining them. So take extensive notes on your client's symptoms. Potencies, again, there's low potencies, 6C and below, medium potencies, 30C and 200C, and then high potencies, M and above. So you can pretty much, Lauren has never really stated what your potencies are that are coming out of the scanner. Well, I just assume that they're the lowest potency as they are in the scanner, unless you do what I'm going to show you today. So the lower potencies, such as 6C, cover a wide range of symptoms, so are ideal if you're not certain that you have chosen the best remedy for your symptoms. So it's a very low potency, it's very gentle on the system, so you don't have to really worry too much. You just have to take it more often to see results. Medium potencies such as the 30C and the 200s are really good for home prescribers, who have some familiarity with homeopathy. They can be given every 2 to 4 hours until the symptoms improve, and then only repeated if symptoms return. Improvement should be noticed by 1 to 3 doses if the correct remedy has been selected. And I'm telling you, when you do find the right remedy, almost immediately you'll see, it's kind of hard to explain, but you'll almost see just an overall just release and just a calmness within the person or the being. When Piggy Britches was, in her final days, I was giving her lots of different homeopathic remedies and muscle testing her for some of them. And it was very blatant whenever she muscle tested strong for something and I gave it to her. Usually her immediate response was that she would rest. She would rest for about, 30 minutes to an hour. And then when she woke up, she would, you could tell that there was more vitality in her eyes. Even the first time she got sick, I was really using it a lot. I use homeopathy a lot with my grandchildren, my children, my husband, myself. I'm a little harder to treat because I always tell everybody, I think, as as our own doctors, sometimes we really have to tune in, really, really have to tune in. So I'm sometimes my hardest person to treat. Anyway, so higher potencies need to match the symptoms more precisely if a curative response is to be triggered. As a general rule, the higher the potency, the longer the effect. A 6C potency may need to be repeated every 1 to 2 hours for a brief period before symptoms improve, while an impotency may only have to be given once. And I know that to be true with some impotencies that I've used with my son early on. His homeopath would, send us some very strong potencies, and she goes, okay, we're going to do, a series of these, and this is how it's going to look. And we'll start off giving one, and we'll see how how things improve or don't improve with him, and then we'll move forward. And almost generally, every time she presented an impotency, I only needed to give it once, and then his symptoms were completely gone or eradicated. So just know that with the higher potencies, that can definitely happen. So what conditions can homeopathy help? Things like rashes, headaches, emotional upset, painful joints, fatigue, lack of sleep, hormone imbalances. These are just a few things that homeopathy can do. But anytime you see a symptom, take note of it. If it's a fever, there's lots of homeopathic remedies for fevers. There's different approaches to it depending on the fever, the type of fever. So you can use homeopathy to kind of help guide your client or your grandchild. Like for myself, it was always my grandchildren. If they presented with something, we'd immediately do a homeopathic remedy. And I just, observe and watch. And you'd be amazed at some of the, almost immediate, it's almost like they immediately were cured. So homeopathy is a very powerful medicine. So we're going to go into it just a little bit more. How do we increase the potency of a homeopathic remedy without succussing it? Succussing, just so you guys know, and if any of you are here that are homeopathics or homeopaths, you already know this, but succussing a remedy is by putting a couple of the hard, uh, pellets in your bottle of water, and then if you're hitting it against your hand, like for instance, hitting 30 times against your hand, that would probably be a 6C. If you go 100 times, that's going to be your 12C. So you can see that if you're succussing, it can get a little tiring and a little time consuming. But you have a great tool in your hands. You can make each remedy and succuss for your potencies, but it's very time consuming and can be quite painful for the higher potencies. Because if you can get a little pillow and you can do this against your hand. Or my mentor actually bought, one of those paint shaker uppers from a hardware store. He bought one of those, and that's how he would do his remedies early on. He's been a homeopath for over 30 years. So I've learned this from him. And, just learning how to make remedies has just been such an amazing thing. So let's move on a little bit. What do I mean about making your own remedies? So, homeopathic remedies are methods of structuring water while in the atomic spaces of soft electrons. So, this timer that I have pictured here can be used to time your saturation while imprinting. In homeopathy, potency determines strength of the compound coupled with the duration. So, for instance, if you wanted to make a 12C, put the remedy on top of your scanner after you've erased, erase your little blue bottle, um, and then place this on your fractal. And this is kind of what I'm going to show in the next slide. You'll place it on the fractal. So you'll notice that I've got my homeopathic page pulled up here. So I've chosen arsenicum album. And the first thing you want to do is you want to place that, remedy on top of that fractal or those blank pellets. You'll hit the erase, let it go through the function of the erase, and now you're ready to imprint. So if you're wanting to get a 12C of the arsenicum album, you're going to put that on your scanner. You're going to hit continuous broadcast, and you're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. You've made a 30C remedy. Now, if you want to make higher remedies, then go through and see this. So to make 100C, you want to do it for 15 minutes, 200C, 20 minutes, 1M, 25 minutes, 10M, 30 minutes. And then when you get up into the higher potencies, then we get up higher times. So that is generally how you make an increased potency remedy. The other thing that you can do is you can actually, imprint it in water. You can put it on your scanner and do the same thing. And if you're going to make, anywhere from a 30C to a 200C, you just really need to be paying attention to when that is sipped on, when it's water, and how the person is responding. So you want to watch for provings. And a lot of people don't realize this, but homeopathy can actually cause a proving within the body. So what is a proving? Well, let's just start simply. Say that you react to cow's milk. Every time you drink milk, you get diarrhea. Whenever you drink milk, excuse me, you prove that milk causes diarrhea, at least in you, and otherwise a healthy person. So that is kind of what a proving is. If you're trying to or if you're attempting to use a remedy, let's say for maybe you got stung by a bee, and this may not be the best example, but I'm just going to throw this out there. But you got stung by a bee and you used apis for your homeopathic remedy, and you took maybe, let's say, 30C. You may get a proving with that where it looks like the bee sting is growing or getting larger. So you want to back down with your remedy a little bit and then just kind of gently come in until those symptoms start to disappear. So that is kind of what approving is. And it's not necessarily, you may just feel worse, is kind of what you'll have with approving. But you definitely want to back off if you're getting some proving. So in a homeopathic proving, a potentized substance diluted and shaken is tested on healthy human volunteers until they begin to show symptoms. This potentized substance could have originated from a plant, a mineral, an animal product, milk, venom, etc., a simple or a compound chemical. It's given to the volunteers called provers. Whatever the prover's experience is attributed to the medicine. Interestingly, these symptoms occur in all parts of the body and also affect the mind. So remember, anything in a homeopathic medicine that can cause a symptom, it can also reverse a symptom. So just remember that. You can't do really any harm with homeopathy. You may have a proving and you may have to back off. So just know that you're not doing any harm. So there's no risks. Homeopathic medicine is safe, gentle, non-toxic, and effective way of healing the body in acute and chronic conditions. So again, it's a short thing today, but I'm going to minimize my screen and I'm going to show, on the scanner and answer any questions that anybody may have. So you can unmute yourself and ask anything.
Can you just go over one more time
Sure.
how you can imprint for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever?
Yep, absolutely. And then I put that little time clock in the team chat, and I'll also upload it in the group today. That way it'll be available for you to just pull at any time. So keep it as a handy graphic, something that you can print out. So let's say that you want to make a homeopathic remedy. So you want to jump down here to the homeopathics. You want to choose one, whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Let's just go here. Let's do aurum metallicum. Aurum metallicum is actually gold, and this remedy is amazing for depression, mental stability, things like that. So one of the things that I do in my water is I have a gold ring in the bottom of my water jug. And of course, we set our water jug out in the sunshine every day for at least a couple of hours. I also treat my water with a terahertz wand. And then I also have uh, words of affirmation that have been cut out of holographic vinyl, and I've got those on my water jar as well. So, and I also imprint my water with a playlist. So, if you're wanting to make, let's say, aurum metallicum, and you want to make a 12C, first you want to do is either put the bottle of water on your scanner or the blank remedies. So you could do either the little blank remedies or a bottle of water, and then you'll hit the erase button first. You'll let it do its thing. It's, I don't know how long it is, maybe 20 seconds. And this can be a bottle of water or it can be your blank pellets, it doesn't matter. And then when you go ready to imprint it, you want to do it on the continuous broadcast and set a timer somewhere. So set a little timer in your phone so that it goes off in, let's say, 10 minutes. So if you hit continuous broadcast with your remedy on top of here or your blank remedy and you leave it for 10 minutes, you are making a 12C or a 30C remedy.
Okay.
So just set a timer, and then once it's done, go ahead and put it back in its little protective box, and you've got it forever.
Okay.
The other thing that you can do, and Malcolm Ray, if anybody's ever heard of Malcolm Ray, he was somebody that was very interested in homeopathy, and he actually came up with a generator that's kind of somewhat similar to our scanners. Um, and he actually has a bunch of blot cards, and each one of these little cards that I have in my hand is a homeopathic remedy. So this one in particular is Mercurius Vivus. So what my mentor has done is made up all these cards, and he's put one drop of the Mercurius Vivus in here, and then he's laminated it. And then I also have a little homeopathic generator that's a Malcolm Ray generator. So if I want to, I can put my bottle of water in here, my card that is my homeopathic remedy, and then I set my timer for whatever I want it to be on whatever remedy, and it's going to transpose the energy of that remedy and put it in my bottle of water. Or you can put, one of these bottles of remedies down in the little hole too, if you wanted to. Set the timer, and then I can generate my own homeopathic remedies this way. The other thing is that if you want to make your own cards, this is something I'm going to do, is I'm going to go ahead and start making my own homeopathic remedy blot cards, because this is a lot easier to store than a bunch of little bottles. So once you make it, it's here forever. Just keep it in a metal box. I keep mine in an old metal recipe box. Show you what that looks like. Many of us old timers will probably know what these little recipe box are. But I keep my homeopathic cards in my little metal box because it works as a Faraday cage. And I have, many remedies that are, homeoprophylactics for, different vaccines and things like that. I've got lots of no-sodes and lots of different remedies in these cards. And I also do color homeopathy too. So that's a whole nother ball of wax that we can get into. But any questions on what I've showed so far, or you're confused about anything I can help with?
I watched one of your YouTube videos a couple of weeks ago, and I was supposed to have surgery last week, and one of the things that the instructions that they sent home was that I couldn't take any supplements for like 2 weeks. And I love my supplements. And so after I watched your video, I was like, I'm going to imprint all of my supplements into pellets. And honey, I was taking those up until the day before when my surgery got canceled or postponed. And so versus my daughter, who did have surgery that day, and she didn't do as well. She landed in the ICU. And so anyway, I was like, next time I get scheduled for this surgery, I'm going to be doing that again.
Yeah.
But I was curious. I can't remember where I saw this. I don't know if it was something Lauren said or what, but on imprinting the Cepheid dots, you can do the dots with these as well. But in how would one, like for acute pain or pain-free or something like that, would you also do that on a continuous setting to increase the amount of pain
I would say
receptors you're
yes.
trying to get rid of?
Yes, I would say yes. And then also, if you can imprint the homeopathic that you know works for you at whatever, 200 potency for yourself, that would probably be a good rule of thumb too. I mean, if you know already beforehand that it works for you.
I have
Just go ahead and
some
imprint it.
dots that I imprinted yesterday for a guy who's in extreme back pain. And I just kept putting the dot on there and hitting imprint, 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 imprint. And so would that have the same effect, do you think? Or should I take them?
I would do a timer and put it in
Okay.
there. Honestly,
Okay.
I really would. I mean, because it's all about intention. And even if you are in your mind saying that my intention is that he's going to be completely pain free, that also has an effect. It's your intention, your prayer, your, subtle suggestions to your friend or your, client, whoever you're working with. That all has an effect.
Mm-hmm.
So use your positive intention anytime you're making up something for somebody, because that also has an effect on the effectiveness of it.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments or thoughts? I'm going to check the chat.
Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning.
This is Alice. And I put it in the chat on the 6C. I know for children and there are occasions when the 6C is good. Is there a time for that?
There is. It is I think they are already 6C if you can pretty much know that in the scanner. So whatever you imprint, that just know that the immediate, if you do the imprint button, that is 6C. Does that make sense?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
It does. Appreciate that.
So
this is the best training I've ever had.
Oh, well, good. So I try to keep things real simple, because I feel like if I do too much, you guys are just going to get lost. So, let's work on one thing at a time. I feel like I get better results with that. But yeah, this timer just allows you that if you want to make a 30C, if you want to make a 12C, if you want to make a 200C, you can do this with your scanner. You don't have to sit there and do this all day long, because it would take some time. So
I'm telling you, I've been training since 2015, on and off with homeopaths and talking with homeopaths, and just as a side training to my naturopathy, I have never heard this kind of simplicity.
yeah,
So really appreciate it.
You're never going to hear this type of stuff except from my mentor, which is he is completely out of the box thinking. I mean, some of the stuff that we're debunking right now, I'm just like, my mind is just completely blown. But it all resonates because I was taught years ago from my homeopath, when my son was in a severe asthma attack. She asked me, and I have a huge kit. She goes, "Do you have this remedy?" And I forget at the time because this was 24 years ago. I forget what the remedy was at the time, but she says, "Do you happen to have this in your kit?" And she wanted me to have a 200C. And I said, "No, I actually don't have that one." She said, "It's okay." She goes, "What I want you to do," she goes, "I want you to take a bottle of water. I want you to get just a plain white piece of paper, no lines." And I went, okay. So I got a piece of copy paper from my computer and just made it big enough to place underneath my bottle of water. She says, "I want you to write the word of the homeopathic remedy plus 200C on that piece of paper. And I want you to put that underneath that bottle. And I want you to set intention that this is going to have 200C of whatever the remedy was." And I went, "Really? And what am I paying you for?" Is what what I thought, right at the beginning,
Exactly.
because she was mailing us our remedies, and they would come in these little black, not little black, little cardboard, little paper envelopes or whatever, and she'd send instructions on how I would treat Tristan for the rest of the week. And I thought, well, darn it, if I don't have to buy these remedies, why am I doing this? I'll just make my own remedies. Well, then here I am 20 years later, and now I have a scanner that I can actually imprint and increase my remedies with. And I'm like, I am just totally blown. Because, I even had a conversation with somebody on my team not too long back. She goes, "Oh, I just got online and ordered a bunch of homeopathic remedies from Boron." And I went, "Why? You have a scanner." She's like, "Well, but that's not the same." And I'm like, "Yeah, it really is." And I said, "Let me explain to you
Wow.
how you can do this." And then I showed her, and she's like, "Oh my God." I mean, we're
Mhm.
so indoctrinated to think that we have to buy from these companies or your health food store or whatever, your remedies, when you can make them yourself.
Yes. And I had an instructor in school. He was muscle testing me for a supplement, and he just kind of wiggled his fingers from one hand into the palm of his other hand, and he muscle tested me, and I muscle tested yes that I needed that. And I said, "What'd you put in your hand?" And he said, "The remedy." And he opened his hand, and it just blew my mind. That was the first experience that I'd had in the intention of an energy.
Yeah.
And so that kind of stuck in the back of my mind. And to have this tool in our hands to be able to do this with
Right.
anything that we have on hand, I love it.
I do too. I do too. I mean, when we saw earlier this year that, there was a threat to, homeopathy kind of being banned here in the United States, I thought,
Yes.
"Oh, so, I'll just go make my own." I mean, I know how to make my own. I've learned it. So it's like, we
Yes.
don't, we, our words are very powerful. So even,
Oh,
when you're
amen.
speaking and you're projecting something out, you better make sure you're praying or you're sending good intentions or whatever it is, because that has an effect. So I mean, we all
Agreed.
have the power within us, so use it. Use it to the good.
Amen.
Hey, Tammy, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go for
This
it.
is Jody. Hi.
Jody.
Hey, hello, can you show the cards again? Because I didn't have you pinned.
Yeah.
And then also, once those are imprinted with a remedy, do you need to re-imprint, or does
No.
that hold its potency? Really?
No,
Okay.
this will hold a potency. Now, this is actually just a drop of a remedy that's in it.
Okay.
They look like, let me see if I can pull them up on a screen so you can see what they kind of look like. Um, you can find them on the internet. Um, well, I was looking on eBay to see if there was anybody that was selling them. There's not, but
Okay.
you can make them up yourself. Well, come on, you little thing. Let me go over here and open up a new tab.
So how does that not lose its potency, but we would need to like re-imprint,
Well, as long as you're
other
keeping these
objects?
cards protected and away from electronics, you're going to
Okay,
be fine.
okay,
And so that's the reason why I always put mine in this little metal box to keep them protected. But they're, I mean,
okay.
you also set the intention that they're fine, So, like for instance, I have some cards that have the Moderna and the other thing on there, so
Mm-hmm.
we can actually use that. But I keep all these in a little metal box, so it's kind of like a Faraday cage. Uh, so here's what
Okay.
I don't know. I think I have to get deeper into the studies of it, but this is what the cards kind of look like. Um,
Okay.
and I know that these little lines and whatnot probably have some significance. I'm not sure what they are. Um, but this is another
Okay.
thing is if you put God bless this remedy on there, you're setting that intention. Um, so you basically what they're doing is they're putting a spot of whatever the remedy is in the middle of the card and then they're laminating it. And then you're
Okay.
able to use that and I can use it on top of my scanner too if I wanted to. So um but that's what they look like. That's kind of what they look like.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions or comments? Or any help with
Tammy,
the scanner? Go ahead.
can you explain, it's like I was saying, I'm learning this part of it yet, and I'm still really lost from when you did your training like Wednesday evening a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I was with a friend of mine and she does body talks and she does she's wonderful and she's looking at the scanner. We got to discussing the vials since that was brought up in one of the groups, and talking about imprinting those into your scanner and you having that. How do you go about when you're imprinting them and stuff? How are you doing that? How do you use the vials to help when you have them imprinted in? And I got to reading that Becky says if she has them show up, then she uses the wand in those certain areas. But what if it's a food that comes up?
Okay, so I wasn't in on that conversation. Just I know what Becky does. She has these different vials that she has set up in her supplement library. Okay, so first you have to scan whatever's in that vial and put it in your supplement library. Okay, so the way you do that, go ahead. You would hit the plus sign and you would
Hi, this is Deb. Yeah, can you hear me?
head.
Sorry. Becky actually doesn't scan her vials physically into the scanner. She just puts the vial name into the scanner because she believes the intention. She does that with a good bit of supplements as well.
Yeah,
I've
and you
been
can
working
do
with
that. Yeah.
Becky. Yeah, so I just know this because I've worked with Becky in the gut group, and then I also have the vials from Kathy Sidoni, and what they are is it's a cool laser, and then she's got a piece of PVC tube that she puts over the end, and she cuts a hole in it so the vials will fit in there, and then you shine the laser through the vial into your acupuncture points.
Well, there we go.
So
You can do that
it's
too.
pretty, yeah, so it's pretty, that whole thing is very involved. I actually was in on that conversation that you're talking about that was on Becky's group.
Well,
And I actually
okay.
voice Kathy called me after that and we had a voice conversation about all of it.
Okay. And this is very true. And I so resonate with all of that too, because Jody, you don't really have to have the supplement, just like Deb was saying. I've even just scanned in the name of something, just like she said, you'll scan in the name or put it, just enter it into your supplement library, because even with our therapies, that is what you're doing. You're entering a name. The scanner is very smart and it knows what that name is. And so if you put in acupuncture, the scanner already knows what that is. And if it comes up for you, then your body is needing that. Does that make sense? Does that help you a little bit? I figured this might be a little far-fetched to kind of explain to everybody just learning, but this is something that you can also do. Does that help you at all, Jody?
Yes, that's starting to make more sense.
So you can actually just put, like, for instance, the spike protein. Say you have a vial of spike protein, you can actually put, make a category for just your vitals, or not vitals, vials. So you can just say, homeopathic vials if you wanted to. And you would just add that as a category. So here's my homeopathic vials down here, and then you would just put spike protein just as a thing, and then you would go down here and you'd put as much of a description as you can. What is the spike protein? What does it do? Whatever. And then the dose quantity, you can put 1, 2, you can put several different doses in there. And then when you save it, you're basically telling the scanner, I have this within my scanner. And whenever you do a scan for yourself, if it comes up, then you know that that's probably something that your body needs. Because I'd also thought about that too, that when you jump down here, let's see, here's the homeopathic vitals, or vials. I keep saying vitals. So you can see it's right here. So when I do my next scan, if that were to come up, then it's probably, chances are, is I've been around somebody that is shedding. So that's how you do that. Does that help?
Yes, that is a lot of valuable information. Thank you.
There's so much to the scanner you can do.
There is, and that's what I've been doing this for 4 months, and that's what I was telling my friend last night. I'm like, girl, I've been doing this for 4 months. You have gone through trainings and you've done this for 3 years. You're going to understand the scanner better than I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm just still learning, and like her mind is blown, and she has the Zydo.
Yeah.
So she was showing me that last night, and we were comparing, like she had me scan for that, and then I was scanning on the scanner, and then she scanned on my scanner. And I mean, we literally sat there for, I don't even know, 6 hours probably.
Wow.
Going over different things, and it's really, really cool. So
yeah, we've
that does
got
help
some great
explain it.
tools. I mean, and honestly, I've run into people that go, I don't need that scanner. I can do that all with intention. And you're right, you can. You've got to really work at it though, but this just kind of helps take some of the, I don't know, some of the leg work out a little bit. I guess you could say it's our lazy machine in a way.
Oh, Tammy, no. For me, when I'm doing it on my own,
Yeah.
that it's draining on my energy
Yeah,
to be
it
able to
can
do
be.
that. And
Yeah.
to have this just going for somebody or for myself all day long, if need be, or whatever, it is a tool that is most valuable to those who are healers.
I agree. I agree.
I agree too. And Tammy, I would take what you were saying one more step. Becky has actually taught me now, when I'm looking at a supplement, I put it in my scanner. And then when I
Yeah.
run my scans, I see if it, and I also buy multiple brands, or I'll
Yep.
put multiple brands in there. And it definitely, I would have to say, I can tell my body has a preference. And for example, I was buying Bioptimizer's HCL for
Mhm.
my gut program, and it's like $35 a bottle or $25 a bottle. I think it's 35. And then my body actually likes the Vitacost one that I put in there. It's only $9.99 a bottle, so I'm saving $25 a bottle, and I use like a bottle every week and a half or so. So
Yep.
there, it's really, really good on the cost savings.
It is. So there again, if you don't know what supplements that should take, get it, go online and look at all the different, pictures of different ones for that particular issue, like HCL, and put several of them in your scanner. Go ahead and enter them in. And if whichever one comes up the most all the time is probably the one your body wants. So that's another thing that you can do with your scanners. Any other comments, questions? Need help with anything?
Tammy, how many entries do you have in your supplements and therapies?
Oh God, too many. I mean, there's tons.
Hundreds.
Yeah, I've got tons. I mean, it just goes on and on.
It's like a major chore to go in there and scroll down and try to find one to edit it or something.
It
Oh my
does,
God.
it does. You know, and it's the same way with my playlist. I mean, everybody's like, if anybody's got a playlist, it's Tammy, and it is. I've probably got a ton of playlists, but whenever I go to upload my custom playlist, always it takes a few minutes for it to come up. It'll probably come up real fast on the computer since I'm on it, but yeah, it came right up. On my scanner, it usually takes about 2 or 3 minutes for it to come up. But yeah, I mean, you start building lots of information, and any chance you get, throw something in. You know, put a playlist in, put another remedy in, put another supplement in, put all your water in, put your food in. I've got my food in, I got my water in at different, increments. I've got all my therapies in there, and supplements. If my son's got a whole cabinet full of it, I said I need to just put all your supplements in there too, just to kind of have fun with it. But it just takes time.
Tammy,
Yes.
hi, honey.
Hi.
Playlist, is it stored on our device?
Yes.
Is there possible to transfer that playlist from the device to a thumb drive so it won't take up so much room on the device?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Would it,
Go ahead.
okay,
I
there's no
don't think
reason-
I don't think it'll be able to recognize what
Yeah.
drive to get it from. It doesn't give you a choice.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter because it's all going on the cloud anyway. Nothing is stored on the device.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's okay. I mean, everything that it comes in here that's coming on your scanner is all in a cloud. It's not actually staying in. I mean, now the last reports will stay in your device, but it's all because it's on that cloud. Anything you pull up that's old will still be there until you run another scan.
And so Tammy, on that page right there, what is that copy button for?
This is so you can copy the playlist. I really don't know why it's there. Like if I wanted to copy this one and maybe edit it, you can do that. It'll make a copy of it. So see how it does? It says copy. Now you can go in here and maybe say you wanted to change this playlist up a little bit. You could do that. There is going to be a point where we can actually send our playlist to another person, to another AO scanner
Awesome.
person, but that's coming later.
Okay, so to
my
share
understanding.
later.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there
Well, can
going to
you-
be any kind of a search option?
I think
In the
they're
future,
working
do you-
on that too, but know that they're in alphabetical order unless you put little emojis in front of them, but they do end up in alphabetical order.
Oh, that's good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Any
And when you
other?
hit that copy, I'm sorry, Tammy,
Go ahead.
when you hit that copy, or like how can you copy the playlist and put it in, say, Word? Say you were going to make a little notebook or something with all your playlist.
I don't think you can.
You can't.
I have to copy and paste and edit it.
Yeah. I won't do that. That's the reason why I'm making these little graphics with the different playlists, and I'll put them in the group just so people have, because someone's asked me, why don't you do a spreadsheet? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for
That'd be
that.
tough.
I was just asked, can you use the scanner to balance out your frequencies and give it to another person?
Okay, make me understand. You mean to make somebody else have your frequencies?
I'm assuming to balance out your own personal and to be able to push those to somebody else. Why would you want to do that though? Why wouldn't you just run the scanner on them?
Yeah, I would just do it for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? You need help with anything?
Are you going to put that graphic with the time in the chat? Can we download that?
I sure will. I sure will. Oh, I can put it. Yeah, I can. Let me see if I can put it in the chat. Well, I don't know that I've saved it. If you'll private message me, I'll send it to you. If you're not in my group or anything,
perfect.
yeah, just private message me and I'll definitely give you a copy of it.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Anything else you need help with?
Oh, there's so much, but we only have so much time.
Well, you got me for another few minutes. So if you need anything, just let me know. I'm happy to help.
It's a wonderful presentation. Thank you.
I'm glad
Incredible.
you enjoyed it. We'll go in a little deeper as time
Tammy,
goes by. Yes, go ahead.
can you tell me the difference between the weight control and the weight management?
Weight
Options in
control is
the list?
yeah, they're just two different types of frequencies that approach the same issue. So if one's not
Okay.
working for you, try a different one. You know, it's
Got it.
kind of like homeopathy. It's just a different frequency, but it's treating the same, not treating. It's affecting the same
Approaching.
issue. Yeah, or approaching, yeah. Yeah, we don't want to use the word treat.
Yeah. And then on the homeopathy
Mhm.
list, when you have a remedy, I've had to look up, you know, when the list, I'll scan for a symptom and a list comes up,
Mhm.
and then I scan and prioritize it. But I like to see, pardon me, what all that remedy does. Is there ever going to be I guess a book of definitions or like the Materia Medica available to us at hand in the scanner or on the app, do you think?
Yeah, eventually Lauren said that will all be in there, but it's going to take some time to get that in there. Right now, if there's something that you're
Oh,
looking
absolutely.
for, yeah, if you're looking for, I would just say upload homeoint.org. They've got several Materia Medicas, and you can put it on your phone. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's one that I reference all the time.
Homeo INT.
Homeoint.org. And here's what the site looks like. If I can get the silly stuff out of the way. So your Materia Medics are right here. So any of these that say MM next to it, these are your Materia. These are the most popular ones. I use Bariki a lot.
Okay.
And Kent. So anything that you're looking up, you can just click it and you'll have your different remedies there.
Oh, how convenient. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very nice. So, and there's that one.
I like
in
that it's
particular.
written in more modern language as well. That looks condensed. That's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions or comments?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
When you do the Cephi and you go to I'm trying to get to it right now. When you go to the homeopathics and you pick, you go to, might be under by symptoms, and say you just do skin. Let's just do that. Calm the skin. Okay, when it'll say calm the skin and mind as, you know, the symptom, and then it gives you the homeopathic solution, and then it says scan, and it says individual and simultaneously. Okay, that scan, what does that mean? Are you supposed to scan the person to see if they actually need that? Is that what that is? So
Okay,
that's
so
important.
what this is like for skin and burns, here's what it's showing you, that all the different homeopathic remedies that are used historically for burns, okay? But
Okay.
if we want to know which one is best for Tammy Ward, I have my profile pulled up. We're going to scan me right now. Let's say if I had a burn right now, then the remedy that's at the very top is ferrum phos. That's the one that my body is saying that I need right now. If I use
Okay.
it and it doesn't give me any symptom relief for the burn, the next one I would jump down to is cantharis. If that one doesn't work, I would jump down to calendula. So these are different remedies that are actually historically been used for burns. And if the first one, second one, third one does not work, just keep moving down your list. But most typically, the first one will work.
And
So
Tammy,
can you just
don't
run
add,
it continuously?
You can broadcast it continuously to yourself, or you can imprint it, or whatever. You can put it in a playlist. So you could actually put ferrum phos in a skin burn playlist, and it'll have the homeopathic in it, and then you can put antiseptic skin, skin 1 and 2 in there. You can put skin issues, you can put burn in your playlist. Everything that has to do with a skin burn, make a playlist and put the ferrum phosphoricum and take a picture, a snapshot of what it scanned for you, so that you can remember which ones came up next. And then you can switch those, because you only want to use one homeopathic at a time if you're trying to figure out what you need to get a symptom relief to treat. I mean, you can put a bunch of them all together, but you're not going to know which one actually did the trick. So using them one at a time is going to help you to know, well, this one's the one that worked for my symptoms the best. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so you wouldn't go down and actually just do a continuous broadcast where it would just go through each one of them.
It will go through each one of them. You can do that if you wanted to, but I personally like to build a playlist where I can set aside each remedy at a time. Yeah, so I know what's actually going on. But yes, you can do
Okay.
that, and it's not a big deal. You can do it, but if you get a relief in that within that 10 seconds that it's actually going through, you may not know until 20 seconds later that, wow, I wonder what that was that gave me relief. You'll just have to
Perfect.
know that you're doing it by a shotgun example in a way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments?
And just to solidify that information, so those that came up on that list are a 6C.
Yes. And
Got
if
it.
you wanted to
Thank
make a stronger remedy, then you would actually just go over back. Let's say if you wanted to make a stronger ferrum phosphoricum, then let's go down here, and I think it's actually cell salt. Yeah, it is. So it's a cell salt. We want to go to it, and we want to go to ferrum phosphoricum. And then you would go down here. Let's say you wanted to make a 200C, then you would go down here and go to continuous broadcast, put your bottle up here or your water, whatever it is you're going to imprint to make a 200C, and run it for 15 minutes. I think that's the gauge.
Got it.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
That help?
Repetition. Thanks.
Yep.
It did.
So you were, well, for a 200C, you would run it for 20 minutes. For 100C, you would run it for 15 minutes, and 30C, you would run it for 10 minutes. So set a timer, put your bottle up there, and then that remedy is now a 30C, 200C, whatever it is that you've made it, however long you've sat it on there. And there's not noise with these, just so you guys know. You're not going to hear anything, but as long as the fractal is moving. Oh, there is noise with that one. There was one I did earlier, and I'm like, oh, there's not any noise. Don't freak out if there's not a noise. You don't need noise. You can actually turn the volume all the way down and set your timer and your thing for. I like to have the volume up just a teeny tiny bit. That's just me. But you can turn the volume all the way down, set thing aside, set your timer and let it do its thing.
And I love that we can choose which fractal
Yeah.
comes up.
Yep.
We're
You
not
can
stuck
actually
with the
change
one the
them.
computer chooses.
Yeah, you can change these by doing this. So if there's one that you like better, you can change it. So any other comments or
Tammy?
go ahead.
This is a question for Day of Discovery out in
Sure.
Utah. So I know you guys booked I can't think of the name of it now. My husband and I booked a tiny room or a tiny house that's in the basement of that place.
Yeah.
Since I've never been, do you guys do are these all day things at corporate? And then do you guys do evenings together? Do you guys sit around and just visit more educational kind of stuff? Because we're actually driving in, and with the farm that we have here, we're leaving our kids at home. So we're driving in and we're supposed to get there like on Thursday sometime. And then, Thursday evening, since we can't check in until 6 unless you did an early check-in. And then of course, Friday, Saturday is the trainings, but we're there all day Sunday, and then we're taking off sometime on Monday.
Okay.
So I was just wondering, if you guys do get togethers, or do you have meals together, or how do you go about this?
What our plans are, Tony, this time is just kind of like what we did in North Carolina. We're going to have what our team were asking us in North Carolina is when we did it for September, could we have 2 days prior to the event and 2 days after the event so that we can have like some one-on-one training with our team leaders, or and we haven't really decided what we're going to do on those days yet, but I know that we've got plans to probably maybe have a couple of the leaders speak, because Becky Coots will be there, Sheila Day will be there, I will be there, Nadia Lutz will be there. We've got several that are amazing educators, and I don't know what their time frames are, but if anybody can speak, we'll probably have a day where we'll do some little training as well. That is our plan. Yes, we do go to meals together. Yes, we go have fun together, and we are 1 mile away from the event, guys. I had no idea when I found this place. So we are within walking distance if we have to be. But yes, it's just when we're at the Solex Day of events, those are all day events. But they are speaking that I guess on the second day, the first morning part of it, the first part of the day will be about business. So if you're not interested in the business part of it, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, but if you're not interested in hearing any of the business stuff, you can leave, or you don't have to be there for the morning session. But don't hold me on that yet, because I don't know the actual events lined out. But that's what they talked about in our leadership meeting, is that they would have part of the morning, I think the second day, where they talk about business. So you're welcome to come and go, but I'm telling you, if you come to the Day of Discovery, be there for all of it. You're not gonna want to miss any of it. Trust me.
Well, I think it's silly if you're going out there and you pay for the event. Why would you not
Right.
be there for all of it? I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, I'll be there for the whole thing, and that's what that's what I was wondering, if you guys were going to do stuff those different days, and I assumed, but I'm assuming you're driving out too. Yes. Or are you guys flying?
Yeah, we're driving. I always drive. I'll be there in June, and then I'll turn right around and come back in September. But yeah, I drive most generally. So we
Okay.
we
That's
we
what
are
we're
leaving
doing,
out on the 11th. Go ahead.
Okay. That's what my husband, we own a trucking company, so he's gone quite a bit. So that's where we're like, okay, we'll just hurry up and drive out there, and we'll be out there for an extra day just to be able to visit with people and stuff, and then get back to the farm because of the kids being in school and stuff. But and then they're running the farm when we're gone.
Good. Glad you guys could come. So just take advantage of what you can. I know that at one point I'm going to talk to the team about going up to Sundance Mountain. Sundance Mountain is just like 20 minutes from the area, and it is one of the most spectacular places. It's ski lifts. It'll take you all the way up to the very top mountain out there in Utah. So and then you can have a picnic up there. So I'm hoping that I can get everybody on the same page, and we all go to Sundance Mountain as well. So we'll
That
definitely
sounds
have a good
awesome.
time.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll
yes,
have a good
yes,
time.
yes. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. Day of Discovery is by far, and now the virtual one is turning out to be just as fun too. So you guys come on with us and come join us. We're gonna have a great time.
I was going to say, virtual in March is going to be a event that you guys are going to put together again, right? Because I'm
Yes,
not
yeah.
missing next year's.
Yeah, we'll put it together, and I think next year we're going to do it in Florida, because by that time Becky will have moved to Florida, and she's saying let's do it near where they're at, which is I forget the name of. Anyway, that's I think where we're planning it next year, if the flights aren't too much, because that we did plan it this past year for that, but the flights were like $1,000 and higher for people to get into where we were going, so we had to switch gears. But if it were to come up where we have to go to
Going,
North
where were you
Carolina
going?
again, I don't think anybody'd be a little disappointed with that, because that was a beautiful inn. It was a beautiful inn. And Becky is, I mean, Becky
Amazing. It was
Bonema is an innkeeper, and she's an AO scan woman. So it's like it was incredible. So even if we go back there, I'm sure everybody'd be just fine.
I wouldn't be disappointed to go there for the first time for me.
Right, right. It was
It was amazing. I thought it was amazing. And you're asking about activities and whether we did it. There's going to be so much stuff going on. You're going to not be able to keep, like, if your head wasn't screwed on, you wouldn't even be able to keep it with
right.
you. You're going to
Right.
be like, you're going to be like the exorcist. Your head's going to be twisting around, and you're going to
Yep.
be like, wow, 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 wow. The companionship, the fellowship, the
Oh.
knowledge, all of it together. Very overwhelming.
And,
Tammy,
and
Becky's
you
gonna
went
be
to the
no-
virtual one, Deb. You went to the virtual one. Wait till you actually go to the big one. It is even far above that.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm already talking to myself. You're gonna have to go to bed every night. Like, you're gonna have to make
Yep.
sure that you're doing what you need to do to take care of yourself, because 6 days is a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tammy,
gonna
Tammy, where's
go
Becky
ahead.
moving to in Florida?